Now, a couple of years ago, 2011, you had a chance to do Rendered Waters, which I know you've already mentioned a couple of times going back to the Stone Fury and some of those earlier Kingdom Come songs. I mean, you had a chance to go back with the Rendered Waters and rework some of those songs. Was that something that you were planning on doing, or something that you said, you know what, I'm going to do this the way I think it should have been done originally, or is this something that years later you said, you know what, this might be different for this song? So is that more of, I guess the question should be with that particular album, was it more some things that bothered you with the original releases that you wanted to do differently, or was the new sounds or something that you wanted to incorporate into those songs?
It's funny. Basically, it's a combination of it all. I mean, you basically didn't just said it all. First of all, now where many years already have passed since Run and Water was released, I'm already thinking differently about it. But yes, you're right. Back at that day, back at that time, I wanted to give some of the songs I still feel very strong about a different tone and a different vibe than how they were recorded in the 80s. I mean, the 80s, I mean, it was a wonderful time. If not the best time I've had. I mean, LA was just a blast. The world was just to me, and from my perception, a better place back then. Looking at all the bullshit going on nowadays. But production-wise, once again, it was great back then. But if I hear the guitars, for example, like let's say take Get It On or Pushing Hard, I would like to hear those songs differently in terms of the sound. But that's the good thing about playing live, because hopefully we're going to be able to come out to the States if I'm getting a working permit. and then we can deliver the songs more in a way I hear and see them nowadays. And Rendered Waters was kind of a reflection of how I would like to see them, especially songs like Should I or 17, for example, which I changed a little bit here and there to give it a bit more of that particular thing I was into at that time, you know what I mean? But then again, it's only a reflection of what I felt for that particular year. I mean, like 5 years later, it can change radical again, you know? It's a constant changing progress. So, I mean, I think the only timeless music was, like, I don't know, 200 years ago, Beethoven, Bach, and the music from the 60s and 70s. I think those productions, if I may call it that way, are kind of timeless. But the 80s only work for a particular time. The 90s only work for a particular time, and so are songs from 2000 and beyond. That just works for particular. It's hard to find the right word for it now, but I can only hope you kind of understand what I'm trying to say here now.
Oh,
you know?
I completely understand what you're saying.
I mean, take whatever Fleetwood Mac, Rumors, or take Rolling Stones or Beatles. That always works. It doesn't matter if it's the year 3280, whatever. It always works.
You know what? I know what I think it is. I think if the song is good, it stands the test of time, and I think that's probably the most important thing. There's a lot of stuff, like you said, from the 70s or from the 80s, from the 90s, the 2000s, that looking back at it, I don't think it's going to stand the test of time. Now, you know, if it's a well-written...
I just rambled on you for like half an hour, and you just put it in one sentence. It really pisses me off.
Well, it is what it is, Lenny. I mean, there's songs that you could hear, and you know that's a freaking great song, and I don't care if it's... I mean, hell, I listen to Neil Diamond, and Neil Diamond composed some great songs, and they stand the test of time.
Hey, for breakfast, nothing better you can do than a little Barry White. I'm not kidding you.
Oh, no, Barry White's another one too. How many people? Yeah. I mean, I guess you could say this. If you look at it generation-wise, if you have people in their 50s, their 40s, their 30s, it doesn't matter. But if you play yeah, if you play some of those songs and people know them, then that song stands the test of time, and that's the way I look at music.
Absolutely, yeah, sure. No, you're right. You said it, right.
Okay, now, and I'm going to ask you, because you've talked about this album quite a lot, and I'm going to sit there and say, Outlier, it sounds to me like this is probably one of your favorite Kingdom Come albums that you're probably the most proud of. Is that true?
Honestly, I think when we finished the first record, I was just as proud about it as I am now about Outlier. So maybe it's probably It's just because it's the latest project, the nearest, closest project I just finished. It may have to do with it. But if I'm looking at it not just from a writing point of view, I produced the record, I recorded it, I mastered it, I did everything on my own. So I think it was a very personal trip, in particular because I've done literally every little tiny detail myself. And the outcome, the pressure, the sounds, the combination between all the magic, cosmic, whatever, industrial shit going on, and then meeting those heavy guitar rolls and still finding a bridge to the good old early Kingdom Come days. So I think the overall package, I think it's just very, it just fits, it's strong, it's just, I'm very happy about it. The only downside is there's no ballad on it, but this time I just did not feel whining about her again, so I figured, okay, maybe next time.
You know what? There's only so many ballads you could do sometimes.
Yes.
So, I mean, I think there's quite a catalog of classic Kingdom Come ballads that people could choose from.
Exactly. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, for example, I mean, let me just throw one example at you. Speaking of Beatles influences, is take Ain't Crying for the Moon. Listen to the first section, which is purely piano and my vocal, and then the second half, which is just balls to the walls, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, or like one of the songs I'm very fond of, Inhaling the Silence. I think that's on, what record was that again? Was it Independent or, oh God, I don't even know, man. I don't even know.
You know what? That's a good thing to have, Lenny.
Yeah.
Is a catalog where you're trying to remember what album was that on. I just don't remember. So congratulations.
I have no idea. Okay. All right. Cool.
All right, Lenny. I got to ask you. This is a question that most of the listeners out there want to hear and want to know the answer to. I know.
Wait! I gotta get dressed now. Okay, I'm ready now. Okay.
All right. Here's the question that a lot of the listeners out there want to hear. I know that Denny Stagg is back in the band, as is JD Frank, and I know you guys are together right now. Are you guys writing some new material, or what's going on with Kingdom Come? Can we expect a new album with you guys, and possibly, like we had mentioned previously, the possibility of maybe making it over here to the States for maybe a little Kingdom Come tour?
Okay, let me be brutally honest. Before I get myself into a fighting mode again by creating with people I have not worked with in 24 years. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? It's been almost like a quarter, like century, you know. Johnny, Denny, and I, for right now, just decided to come together sometime soon. We already committed ourselves to a so-called monster cruise leading in Miami in February, which we want to be part of. Not because the weather in Germany sucks and I like to hang out in the Bahamas, of course. No, purely because we like to play. But I think one of the obstacles we are facing right now, I'm living on the other side of the planet, meaning in Germany. Johnny lives in LA and Danny in Pittsburgh. So it's once again, it's one of those unfortunate situations that the band is not living in the same town. If we would be living at least in the same damn country, we could come together, just jam around and see what develops out of it and maybe do something unexpected. But right now, all I can assure you is that we are willing to enter the stage again, and we would like to show you guys out the wide variety, the endless horizon of Kingdom Come, meaning from 1987 till 2014, or actually 15. So that's all I can say we would like to do right now. So concentrating on playing live. And even that will hopefully work out. I can't even promise that right now. But right now, I just got off the phone with my touring agent out of Belgium. And he just talked to a guy in the States who would like to do the whole tour. So if that works out, that would be something we would be very excited about. But that's all I can tell you at this particular time.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to tell us that and let the fans out there know what's going on. So it sounds like there's still hope that you guys will make it over here. And who knows, maybe if you guys do make it over here and have that time together, you guys can compose and write some songs together. I guess that's my
Exactly.
take on it.
Exactly. I mean, you never know. As long as my vocal cords are up and running, and as long as I can stand up straight, I certainly would like to do something. But I'm not one of those guys who like. I mean, I'm not a workaholic. I like to live life. As Bon Scott was saying, doing nothing means a lot to me, and it really has some truth in it. I mean, I'm not the type who's chasing money or chasing actions or always having to be busy doing something. I'm actually starting to enjoy more and more just sitting right by my friend she owns a cafe near the Baltic Sea. I like to just sit there with my friends, watch the ships go by, have my egg, lick a cake, have coffee, and just say hallelujah. Simple things make a happy man.
I hear you wholeheartedly, and it is the simple things in life that make the difference. So, you know what? I'm glad you're still putting out albums. I'm glad you're still out there making music. And if I know you, you've probably got some ideas. You probably even have some songs that you've pretty much put together. And I'll ask this. Is there anything down the road that you might be releasing? Maybe an EP, maybe just a track here and there, maybe?
I am. I wouldn't rather do anything more than just like stir up some excitement. But honestly, right now, I've put so much energy and heart and soul and life into Outlier that I'm still kind of like positively worn out, if you know what I'm trying to say. So right now, I don't really have the urge like grinding in me. I have to be creative. Besides the fact that we were already committing to a lengthy tour in Russia, which unfortunately didn't work out because the guy was a total unreliable airhead, so we had to cancel that. But I would really like to focus more on just hanging out. I mean, Johnny, Danny, and I have been using one sentence quite a bit lately. Let's see each other again before we all turn into dust. And that's the main message. Life is so damn short, and we're so busy chasing whatever important things we have to do that we forget about living life. So, and that's what it's all about. I've done so much writing and creating. I mean, if people don't dig what I've done, they will not dig anything else I may be doing. So it's not my main concern to like show more new routes on a creative level. Right now, I would like to just enjoy life, and that means being on stage, hopefully with Johnny and Danny and Hendrik, who was my German fellow drummer. Who knows if James or Rick will join up sooner or later? I have no idea, but it's about having a good time, even if I may play depressing songs, but that's exactly what it's all about.
You know what? I just figured this. If you guys do get back together and do write another album together, I think Before Return to Dust would be a great title for that album.
Yes, actually, you and I may just be laughing our ass about it. I mean, ass off about it in 2, 3, 4 years from now. But you may be right. It's definitely a great title. And if things, once again, things which are meant to be, that will happen anyhow. So there is no need for, right now to go crazy or bananas or worry about anything, because if you do believe in a higher force, it's going to happen anyhow. So in the meantime, let's just lay back. Let's try to avoid any more fucking war. And let's kick the ass of those ISS idiots. Sorry. And heavy metal. Yes.
You all right? You all right over there?
Yeah, just getting a little coffee because I'm a little excited, I guess. So, Matt, rock and roll, what else is going on?
All right, so I want to thank you personally for joining me here on the Hard Rockology Show and talking not only to myself, but also the listeners out there as well. And I know we've been talking about Outlier a lot, so why don't you go ahead and basically introduce another track, maybe one of your favorite tracks off this album, and take us out of the interview.
Okay, first of all, let me say thank you very much for having me on your show. I do appreciate it. You've been a great partner in terms of like question you've asked. I mean, it's certainly been different. I enjoyed it very much. And I would like to close it with a little shocking, differently sounding side from Kingdom Come than most of you probably are used to. And that's why I would like to suggest, let's close this with the song called Ride Ralleye, which is certainly not 80s, but please sit back and take a Valium.